So the first thing you should do here is you should use your calculator and graph this. And you're going to see it looks something like this. Not the best graph, but what I want to know is I want to know this area here. So I need to find the area of the outer loop and the inner loop and subtract it to find the difference. So, and I only need to really look at half of each because they're symmetric with the y-axis. If I had drawn it nicer, we'd have seen that. So if we look at just from here to here for the outer loop, I'm integrating from I can go from negative pi over 6 to pi over 2 to get that outer loop in a, the half of the outer loop in a single part. Basically, it's when, if I look at it, think about it, when is it 0? Well, it's 0 when sine is negative 1/2, which is negative pi over 6. And when is it, so 0, and then the maximum's up here when it's pi over 2, right? That's why I know the maximum's at pi over 2, right? Because that's where it hits. And at 0, what do I have? Theta is, when r equals 0, theta is going to be sine of theta equals negative 1/2, which would be negative pi over 6. So that's where I get the first part. So I need to find the area of the outside, and I'm going to double it. So it's twice 1/2 the integral from negative pi over 6 to pi over 2 of r squared, which is 4 times 1 plus 2 sine theta squared d theta. These go away. I have 4 on the outside. And I have 1 plus 4 sine theta plus, and then I have 4 sine squared theta, which is 4 times 1 minus cosine 2 theta over 2, or 2 minus 2 cosine 2 theta d theta. And this become 3. So I have 4 times 3 theta minus, I have 4 sine theta, that's 4 cosine theta, and then I have minus 2, actually the 2 goes away, so it's minus sine 2 theta, and that's all from negative pi over 6 to pi over 2. And if I plug that in, I have 4 times 3 times pi over 2 minus 4 cosine of pi over 2 minus sine of 2 times pi over 2, which also goes to 0, minus 3 times negative pi over 6 minus 4 cosine of negative pi over 6 minus sine of 2 times negative pi over 6. And if I multiply all that out, I get, and you should check it, 8 pi plus 6 radical 3. Now I need to do my inner loop. Okay, so I'm also going to look at half again. So I know I'm going to look at the other time where it's 0, and that's at 7 pi over 6. So it goes from, and when is it a minimum? Well, when it's 3 pi over 2, this is negative, so it's a minimum. So I'm going from 7 pi over 6 to 3 pi over 2, right? Because sine is negative 1/2 at negative pi over 6 and 7 pi over 6. And so now I'm going to look at the same integral again. It's going to be 2 times 1/2 integral, but now from 7 pi over 6 to 3 pi over 2 of this same integral that's up there. And so I have the same idea, and it's going to be equal to, this goes away, So I have 4 times 3 times 3 pi over 2 minus 4 cosine of 3 pi over 2 minus sine of 2 times 3 pi over 2 minus 3 times 7 pi over 6 minus 4 cosine of 7 pi over 6 minus sine of 2 times 7 pi over 6. And if you go ahead, you should do all the math to make sure you get the same thing. You shouldn't always trust me because I do make mistakes. You should get 4 pi minus 6 radical 3. So the area between is 8 pi plus 6 radical 3 minus 4 pi minus 6 radical 3, which gives you 4 pi plus 12 radical 3. And that is your final answer.